Chapter 1, How Experience Creates Meaning. Walter Maxwell was a ninth-grade student at Fireheart Academy, a private institution on the coast of the United Republic of Stars in California. It was an enormous school. He was lucky enough to get in after winning the lottery, that is, his mom won the lottery and was able to move him to the big school. Ah! We won. We won, he remembered his mom screaming one night. They were kinda poor up to that point, but now he lived in a pretty big house with a nice pool, nice backyard, hot tub, 2 stories, it was neat. His heart broke when one day his family was in a terrible car crash. His parents and siblings were all killed by a drunk driver. He loved them a lot, and missed them every day. He lived with his uncle Mike and he loved Mike a lot. He was a relatable, nice, swell, and polite man. Mike was unmarried, but he never really wanted to get married. He worked at an office job selling insurance. I miss your mom every day, Walt. She was a really sweet lady. Sometimes I wonder if someone was after them, after the money. Fuck drink driving man. Fuck. Sorry. How cruel this world is, Walt. If I teach you anything, let it be the fact that family's everything. We know she's in heaven now, happier. Walt had 2 older brothers, Max and Adam. They all passed away, and the funeral was held for all of them. That was 5 months ago now. He was 3 months into the school year, November. They passed away at the end of June. Sometimes Walt cried. He loved them a lot. He felt like they were really nice. They tried their best. He held no ill will against them, but he knew he needed to be fucking strong to get through a life with no parents and no siblings. Every day Walt would wake up at 7 a.m., shower, brush his teeth, put his uniform on, eat breakfast with Uncle Mike, and get ready for school. Sometimes he liked to play video games in the morning, scroll his phone, watch YouTube, Netflix, etc. Hey Walt. Mike was saying as we was dropping him off in front of the huge academy. They lived at a beach town, Snow Isle. It was called this because even though the summers blazed, this world was strange because it snowed often in the colder seasons, even though naturally it didn't make that much sense. I packed a sandwich, chips, cookies, carrots, Sprite, an apple, an orange, and another sandwich in case one wasn't enough. I love you, kiddo. Do good like you always do. Love you, and I'll see you at home. Uncle Mike told Walt. They smiled at each other, shook hands, and Mike drove to work. Walt had some close friends, Jace, Nick, Steve, John. He also had some women he loved, Stacy, Alexis, Melissa, Miranda. The school was inspired by Japanese fashion, so the students wore uniforms like those of Japan. The school was 10 stories high. Walt had class on the 4th floor, history. Yes, class. Unfortunately the Republic endorsed, approved of, oversaw, and purposefully moved millions of slaves into the nation to cultivate mainly cotton. They were treated with terrible, awful, furious, mad, fury, and the boiled and swelled into what we call the Civil War, which I'm sure you all have heard of. During the Civil War we lost many Starians, the most of any war, but this war eventually ended slavery, which was a start, but African Starians still had a long, difficult, mean, rude, road to travel until they saw we might call a truer equality. The teacher taught about the Civil War for the whole hour and there would be a test on Friday. It was Monday, November 1st. Walt liked this class because Stacy was in this class. After class they got to talk for a bit. Hey Stacy. How are you? Walt was black and Asian, 5 feet 6 inches, clear skin, skinny, and he also had a broken tooth he wanted to fix eventually. I'm okay, Walt. That's so sad about slavery. I know you especially, 'cause you're black, are really impacted. As a white woman I'm here to say those human beings were deplorable and you're way better than them, Walt. It's so heartbreaking. Everyone should be treated equally. I never would have done that, she said. Walt believed her. Thanks, Stace. Yeah, I think it's really heartbreaking how they were treated. They really didn't deserve any of that, and now relations are still strained between blacks and white because of it. I feel the philosopher Paul Freire was right when he said when we stop getting oppressed, we don't in turn oppress the oppressor. I totally agree. Revenge isn't the way. I know a lot of human beings are still like that, but there are white human beings like me who aren't racist at all and love human beings of any color. You look cute today, Walt. How about a kiss, cutie? Walt blushed. He liked Stace a lot. He didn't have sex, he felt he was too young, Stace too, but he felt like kissing was fine, so they made out. They talked some more, then Stace went to her next class and Walt went to his next class on the second floor, math. He had this class with Lex. Yes, class, so basically what we want to do is find out what X is. We can do this by obviously treating both sides of the equal sign the same until we get everything to one side to make it clearer what our missing number is. The teacher went into the intricacies and complexities of algebra and Walt took notes while he sat next to Lex. They chatted here and there, but not enough to get in trouble. Walt liked that him and his friends practiced abstinence, that way he wouldn't get jealous because he knew they didn't intend or like purpose to date anyone. There was also a test for algebra on Friday. 2 class down, 4 more to go. Walt and Lex talked after class. Geez. Talk about obvious, am I right? I knew all this stuff. When is this ever gonna come up in real life, Yano? I feel like algebra's really fun, but at the same time, I wanna go into business. How's this gonna help? Anyway, what are you up to, playboy? Did you make out with Stace again? I love when you kiss your girlfriends, so. I'm your girlfriend, can I get a kiss too, please? Walt loved her. He also felt bad for her because he knew how some fucking losers talked about them, but they were kind of popular, and no one important really cared, just whispers, murmurs, rumors, and gossip. Walt didn't feel bad. He liked more than one woman, they liked him too. What was there to feel bad about? They made out and Walt talked to her some more until it was time for third period. Class, what we have to know is that so much of the ocean is unexplored. There's so much flora and fauna in the ocean we might never know about. Clownfish, famous for their vibrant colors and unique symbiotic relationship with sea anemones, are fascinating creatures found in warm waters of the Indian and Pacific Oceans. These small, brightly colored fish are known for their striking orange and white stripes. They form social groups consisting of a dominant female, one breeding male, and subordinate males. Remarkably, they are immune to the stinging tentacles of their host anemone, finding protection within them. Clownfish are also sequential hermaphrodites, with all individuals being born male and the dominant one eventually transforming into a female. This dynamic not only ensures reproduction within the group but also facilitates their mutualistic relationship with the anemones. Walt raised his hand. Teacher, I'm sorry, can you please explain how these nice, neat, swell, polite, and cool critters are both men and women? No offense. I'm just kinda confused. The teacher replied, don't worry, Walt. I figured you'd ask. You ask the most questions and I appreciate that. This is a hard to understand thing, so let me explain more. Clownfish exhibit a phenomenon called sequential hermaphroditism. When clownfish are born, they are all male. Within a social group of clownfish, there is a strict hierarchy, with the largest and most dominant fish being the female. If the female dies or is removed from the group, the breeding male, which is the next largest fish in the group, will undergo a transformation to become female. This change includes physiological alterations, such as the development of ovaries and the ability to produce eggs. This sequential hermaphroditism ensures that there is always a female present to facilitate reproduction within the social group. This unique adaptation increases the chances of survival and reproduction for the group as a whole. The teacher explained it a lot more than this, but I don't want to go into detail, but Walt and Liz found the whole thing very interesting. Wow! In a typical social group of clownfish, there is usually only one dominant female. This dominant female is the largest and most dominant individual in the group. The other clownfish in the group are typically males, including one breeding male and subordinate males. If the dominant female dies or is removed from the group, the breeding male will undergo a transformation to become the new dominant female. So, while there is usually only one female at a time in a group of clownfish, the composition can change based on the hierarchy and reproductive needs of the group. How fascinating is that, Walt? I never heard something so cool before. We're like the opposite, haha. I feel like you're dominant and of course we as women submit. Clownfish live in anemones, which provide protection from predators. Anemones have limited space and resources, so competition for these resources within the group can be intense. Having a single dominant female helps to reduce conflict and competition within the group. Clownfish engage in a form of cooperative breeding, where only the dominant female and breeding male reproduce. By having a single dominant female, the group can focus its reproductive efforts and resources on producing offspring that will increase the group's overall fitness. Clownfish exhibit a complex social structure within their groups, with the dominant female maintaining control over the group's activities and reproduction. This structure likely evolved as an adaptation to maximize the group's chances of survival and reproductive success in their reef habitat. So when animals do it, it's fine, but not for us. Fuck Walt. Fuck You are my dominant clownfish, Walt. But I don't breed, so I submit, so I guess that makes sense. I think it's funny because good for them, but I could never have multitudes of men. Too fucking icky, Yano. I don't know, what do you think, Walt? Walt really liked listening to Liz. She surely had a nice, neat, cool, and amazing memory. I completely agree. And we gotta study this later. Liz nodded approvingly and they made out some. I feel like when animals do it, it's not a big deal, but aren't we like animals too, Yano? Mortal rational animals. I don't know, thanks for being abstinent and awesome, Liz. Obviously, they said in unison. They made out some and talked more until period was about to start. They were on the third floor, and Walt's next class was also on the third floor, English. In Great Gatsby, what we'll find is the love for the color green. The money's green, the lights are green, the lawns are green, also how yellow reminds Gatsby of Daisy. I want you to take a minute to write down your thoughts on the film versus the book in a Venn diagram. You will submit this at the end of class, said the teacher. After class, Walt got to talk to Miranda. I love the movie, Yano. Young and Beautiful is such a touching song. Tell me, Walt. When I'm all old and wrinkly, will you still love me? Walt kissed her and said, of course I will, and I can be abstinent now, I can be abstinent in old age. I know you'll be beautiful, but you know how hard it is for old people to make love. I know. Some dumb motherfuckers might get mad, they both said. They kissed again and hugged. I understand. I don't know how frisky I'll feel when I'm that old either, but thanks for waiting like me. Well, let's go eat. They started making their way to the cafeteria. The cafeteria was several stories high and very beautiful. There they met up with all the other women plus the men too. Jace, Nick, Steven, John, Stacy, Lex, Liz, MJ, Miranda Johnson, Victoria, and Cindy. Of course Walt had his lunch from home, but the school lunch was so nice, sometimes his friends questioned why he didn't eat the food. No need. I feel like I might eat too much if I only eat food from here, Yano. Walt said, and they agreed. Nice game of MW3 last night, boys. Fuck a OP, man, that game's pretty nice. I don't get all the hate. John said, and they agreed. I wanna play COD, Walt, Stace said, and everyone said doi. Doi. It's 6 players and Uncle Mike loves COD, and everyone laughed. Why don't we play Fortnite tonight? I know you like streaming it. I love watching your streams, Stace, they're really nice, neat, swell, polite, and really entertaining. Stace said, "Aw. Thank you, Walt. That means a lot coming from you, and thanks for watching my streams, guys." They all streamed, in fact, there was nothing else to do. Fuck school, man, what's the point of this stuff, Yano? Fucking. I'd rather sleep all day than do this dumb ass shit. Jay said, and everyone agreed. So Vic, how was that EDM festival? Walt asked. Aw, thanks for asking. It was really fun. I danced a lot, my uncle danced a lot. The music was wild. The effects were so cool. It was a great experience. I wish you had been there, and everyone agreed. I know. I'd love to go. And how are your streams? She streamed Fortnite, Overwatch 2, Valorant, Apex etc. They're going okay. I make so much money on Twitch I could probably make it my job, and everyone laughed. Thanks for supporting so much. You have my heart, kid, so why don't you play Overwatch more? She asked. I'm no good. Walt said, and everyone said you can say that again, and laughed. Then they reassured Walt they were just joking. Walt loved OW, but it was a hard game. Vic helped him to get a lot better though, giving him tips, tricks, and advice. They basically said they were fucking dumb, which they weren't, but Walt preferred Zelda, Mario, Kirby, these kinda games. It's so nice how it snows here, I wonder why that is. Vic said. For real? I love it, it's nice so we don't have to leave to see snow, you can snowboard, it's nice for pictures, and it's a really beautiful thing. I guess there are some things science can't explain. Stace said, and everyone agreed. When they were done eating, everyone decided to study and do homework. They helped each other out and they made sure to always get their grades done early so they didn't stress about them later. Eventually, after a lot of laughter, smiles, hugs, kisses, jokes, video game talk, anime talk, weather talk, life talk, and talk, our heroes got ready for 5th period. Walt had music on the 10th floor with Vic. They sang choir, and today they were singing Christmas carols getting ready for the Christmas concert. The teacher was kinda strict so they couldn't talk too much, but he always sat next to his girlfriends in all his classes. He met them in high school, just like he met his brothers. They were so rich and happy, life was good. You sound so nice when you sing. I think my favorite thing in the world is your singing. If I never heard you sing again, I don't think I'd be happy ever again. Thanks for complimenting my voice. Sometimes dumb motherfuckers give me a hard time about it, but I love my voice 'cause you love my voice. My parents gave me this voice, Yano. And. Sorry about your family, Walt. They kissed. Vic motioned for Walt to talk, but he said it was okay. I mean, I'd be so fucking depressed if I lost my whole family. Your family's your whole world, Yano. I love you. I'm so glad I met you. They kissed some more. It's okay, Vic, we know. They're in heaven, they said together. And of course they're, Walt said. Happier, they both said. I miss and pray for them a lot. I know they're the same way. I know Uncle Mike is still kinda depressed about it, but thanks to you guys you helped cheer me and him up a lot. Walt said. They kissed a lot and Vic said. I love you, Yu. She seemed frustrated. You guys are so rich, if I might ask my love, respectfully, why didn't you guys buy a bigger house? Vic asked respectfully. Well, save money, they both said. I figured. Vic started. She wanted to apologize, but Walt assured her she was fine. They made out, hugged, and talked some more. Then they headed to 6th period. Walt's 6th period was PE. He changed his dress shoes to tennis shoes and changed his outfit from his black coat and slacks to basketball shorts and a white t-shirt. He had PE with Cindy. They were running a mile today. They ran the mile every Monday. It was okay for Walt, he was fairly fit. He had about a 7-minute miles while Cindy ran around an 8-minute mile. Nice job, Walt. I wish I was that fast. You look so handsome. Why don't we hang out at my place after school? We can race the go-karts. Walt did love CIN and he also loved go-karts. Sure. Listen, why don't we invite everyone? Why not? CIN said. I want to cook you something really tasty. What are you in the mood for? Cin asked him lovingly. Walt started. How about fried chicken legs, and rice? Walt said happily and lovingly. They kissed. You got it, cutie. They were both sweating a lot. They had to kiss when the teacher wasn't looking or they'd get in trouble, though usually kissing was okay outside classes. They played basketball until school was over, then showered. Everyone met up at the end of the day 3 p.m. and Cin's butler picked everyone up in a Mercedes Sprinter and took them to her mansion. Chapter 2, How the Heart and Brain Are Linked Together. They raced karts, and Walt was able to try Cin's cooking and really enjoyed it. This tastes really good, Cin. Where'd you learn to cook like this? I could never make something this tasty. Walt said. I learned from my mom. She loves cooking for my dad, she says it's her favorite thing. I'm glad you like it. I could cook for you every day if you wanted. Cin said, and Walt appreciated the offer. Everyone enjoyed the cooking a lot, but the women were jealous of Cin. They went on the trampoline indoors, a huge trampoline park that is they swam in an indoor heated pool, and played video games. At sunset everyone was going home, the women hugged and everyone was saying bye. Cin asked Walt to stay, but the other women insisted he go home so he could get rest for the next day. Her mansion was huge, everything was like anime, it was a calm, cold day. The beach was near, but Walt felt warm. The women secretly hated practicing abstinence, but Walt felt it was important, especially because they were so young. Look guys. Nick started. There's no need to get jealous, Walt likes all you guys, next time we'll just go to Lace's house and we'll cycle. No need to worry, we can all tell you guys are obviously being dumb, lay bygones be bygones, we had a fucking nice time, no need to bicker, Yano. No fucking offense, just sayin'. Nick said, and Steve agreed. Steve said, guys. Fucking we're rich, we're young, we're happy, just be fucking grateful for your health. There's no point arguing when we're all friends. Walt likes you guys, right Walt? And Walt agreed. There you go. Don't get your panties in a bunch if it's about sex, wait till after high school, I'm sure you'll be fine, fucking calm down, you're fine, sorry you're fucking fine, it's all love anyway, am I right? Steve said, and they all agreed. Jay said go-karts was real fun, Cin, we gotta do this more often. Anyway Walt, what do you think, what do you wanna do? My advice is you guys all hang out here until it's late, then Walt you go home for your own sake so no rumors start that we're little perverts roaching it up or what the fuck ever. Your trampoline park's awesome, better than mine. Your staff's all really nice. And the pool was nicer than mine too, right Walt? That's right Jace. All the men left and so Walt was left alone with his girlfriends in Cin's huge mansion. They all cuddled and made out on Cin's bed and Walt had to explain the importance of abstinence. Think of it like this, like Jay said, our reputations will be slandered. I know we don't go to a Christian school, but most of the students are Christian, multitudes look up to us for guidance and wisdom, we don't want to fail them. Besides, I feel like you guys get jealous and there's no way that could be a nice thing for anyone, am I right? And they all agreed. They hung out for a few more hours until it was dark, then they all got picked up by their guardians and went home. Cin was happy but she missed Walt, then she started studying for her classes. The next day Walt went to his classes like usual. He learned about Lincoln's bravery, the alphabet in math, schools of tropical fish in deep cold lit water, metaphors, Christmas carols, and dodgeball. At lunch Walt decided to be by himself, he just felt like it'd be nice for him. He still had love for his friends. But time alone helped him to think about what he wanted to do with his life. Everyone else here was here because their parents were successful businessmen or like women, but Walt was here because he won the lottery. He felt he should go to college even though he was already rich, but he wasn't sure. He was already set. Uncle Mike didn't care either way. He was in high school, because he had to be. Of course, not necessarily, but he felt it'd be pointless to not at least graduate high school. He might get mocked for it later on in life, though sinners mocked everything. He didn't want to have sex, but he also didn't want to choose one woman. He was happy with a few, they were happy too. Everyone was stressed about school, studying and whatnot. Walt took a cruise control, autopilot, steady, relaxed, peaceful, neat, nice, swell, cool, polite, tranquil, serendipitous approach to life. He didn't have time to stress, he was too busy daydreaming and sleeping, as a metaphor like his English teacher would say. He learned how devastating the war was for the South and how much the South was destroyed, and he lamented the passing of the great president who won that war. He enjoyed math, though it wasn't his strong suit, but algebra was a fun class and wasn't too hard. He liked the teacher and he had friends in that class. He liked to goof around a lot and he was sure he'd pass the test. He loved fauna and flora, so biology always caught his eye. He saw a lot of beauty in human beings, sure, but how many human beings, or like multitudes, saw beauty in things that weren't human beings? Probably not a lot, he ventured to guess. He loved Gatsby's phrase "old sport," and he liked the excitement, the riches, the glamour, the lights, the classic vibe, the romanticism, the historicity, the drinking, the dancing, the swing, the singing, the flapper girls, the madness of the roaring 20s. He loved singing with Vic and he enjoyed Christmas, though he didn't go to church. He liked church as a concept. Here's what happened during PE. Lots of screaming kids in a gym. Cute women, silly men, beings hit by dodgeballs. I bet you can't. Cin started saying, but was cut off by getting hit. She walked away sadly and called Walt mean for that one. She did eventually get him back. The games were intense. Look alive, these are some things heard during the game. Ah. No, in a funny sad voice. Why can't I do anything right? Lucky shot. Hit your target. Lucky catch. Just pretend I'm one of your girlfriends, I'm sure it won't hurt as much. You throw like a girl. Walt built up a sweat during PE and loved the snow. After he showered, he just stood there in the courtyard blowing his warm breath in the frosty air to see the frost and the fog. Everything looked like anime. Kids were walking around, talking on phones, chatting, looking at their phones, playing portable video games, kissing, by the fountains, on benches. Walt almost cried. It reminded him of his Dark Academy series. It seemed it came to fruition. In a way, this was the way he envisioned it. He was finally smart enough to paint it the way he'd like. Walt almost cried, but he didn't. Everything was anime. He looked up at the sky as it came in and out of focus, the gray clouds. It might storm, it was snowing, it was implied, but it was snowing. Fucking, he loved snow. Walt loved snow and he loved sun. He didn't know which was nicer sometimes. He felt conflicted sometimes. It was hard telling the truth, but truth was he preferred snow to sun, dark to light. That's why he liked Vic. She was like that too. Hey Walt. Vic said. Whatcha thinking about, silly? Isn't this place so beautiful? I swear I could live here. What a beautiful school. Whoever designed this school was a genius. It truly is the best school in the world. I was just thinking about you, funnily enough. I appreciated how you liked gothic stuff. Vic reminded Walt or Donald of Marley, a nice streamer, but she was actually based on a personal friend of his. Boy who doesn't black is a personality trait. I love Marley. She reminds me a lot of myself, goth, Overwatch, EDM, but she doesn't play Fortnite, Apex, Valorant, Rocket League, and stuff, plus she's way more popular. But, she's still a really nice woman. Motherfuckers don't know shit, Yano. They fucking say I'm copying her. She's awesome and I'm awesome. I'm my own person. Fucking human beings are fucking allowed to be similar, Yano. He did know. This school is hundreds of years old. Built in 1808 by a man with a vision. Louis Berganapolis, a man who struck oil and only grew richer during the gold rush. This really is the best state. California. Or sometimes called California. I love it here, I wouldn't ever really wanna leave the state, ya know. Walt told Vic. No, I agree. I love this state a lot. I love New York, Florida, Marley. I feel like motherfuckers will always compare me, she's great but I'm not her, ya know. He knew. Thanks, Vic. You are so awesome. You know we should start a club. Ah. Vic screamed in excitement. What kinda club were you thinking? How about Fortnite? Apex? Vic suggested, and Walt appreciated it. They found it strange how these clubs didn't already exist and discussed that. How about a philosophy/cooking club? He didn't want Vic to think her ideas were totally ignored, but he wanted some local multiplayer games, but he didn't want to hurt their feelings if they weren't too good at them. I like the sound of that. Now you'll have to try my chicken and rice. Agree to disagree. Her chicken and rice was to die for. But mine has more love put in it, ya know. Anyway. I like Cin a lot. I just wish she wouldn't try to make me so jealous, ya know. She knows I like you most. As long as we all know we all like you, but we all simultaneously know I like you most, we'd get along a lot more. But I know they're friends, what can I say? Abstinence is the right call. It definitely makes me a lot less jealous, and for that I'm glad. Snow surely is beautiful. You're my brown snow, Walt. I know you like to say I'm like snow. I think motherfuckers are so stupid they say tree bitch, I know. But you're my brown or like black snow. And they made out. The school wasn't like a college, it was open until night, but it was mostly empty after school was over. Walt went to Vic's house and watched her stream Fortnite. They cuddled on her bed and listened to Eminem and watched Keikuryui. They also listened to Rawest Forest, a song about Super Mario RPG. They made out a lot but practiced restraint, and that only made them love each other more, not less. They listened to Young Genius by Lil Mabu and listened to Walt rap. His girlfriends thought he was the best rapper. They were right. They were in love. They kept kissing. They'd feel high on love. They had to fight the temptation to not be scared. They felt super high, higher than anyone could really know. They knew they'd always love each other. They designed flyers for their club and printed them out. They also remembered to bring tacks and tape so they could hang them up on Wednesday. Walt decided to sleep over cause Uncle Mike trusted him a lot and Vic's parents liked him a lot. They liked that they practiced abstinence and Walt had talked to them a lot and they liked him a lot. They also thought he was very blessed to win the lottery. They went to school together the next day, and Walt went to his classes. President Grant, math never fucking changes, lol, global warming, the deceitfulness of wealth, and the pains of unrequited love, lunch, Christmas carols, and tennis. Yeah, my family went on a cruise this summer. It was really nice. It was around Hawaii, it was amazing. We surfed, saw tiki torches, grass skirts and hula dancing, amazing spas and beaches, blue skies, it was hot, we scuba dived, it was freaking incredible. I wish you guys had been there, you would have had a lot of fun. It's very romantic. Nice sights. There was a huge dining section where the walls were glass so you could see all the fish swim by. Hopefully we can all go next summer, right guys? John said, and they agreed. It was lunch. My family one time went on this cruise from New York to England. It was a week long, and it was really fun. It was during summer 7th grade. Swim park, buffets, hot tubs, bungee jumping, an amusement park. It was really nice. I have great memories. I have a younger brother and we all had a lot of fun. I wish you guys could have went. England so nice. It's a lot like America but they like fish more than burgers. I saw the Royal Palace, Big Ben, and lots of cool parks, and tourist spots in London. I wish you guys had went. I think it would have been a lot more fun. Hopefully one day we can go. I think it'd be really nice and fun. Vic said, and everyone agreed. They took the time during lunch to hang up all the flyers for their club. They hung about 200, about 18 per person. The school had 5,000 students from 9th to 12th grade. They were all really excited for the credits they got for forming a club, but also to spend more time with each other. Vic and Walt had a lot of fun in choir. They were too scared to kiss when the teacher wasn't looking. They were afraid someone would tell. He was really nice but also super fucking strict. It was always nice for Walt to see her. He loved her and she made his days better. He then played tennis with CIN and CIN won. They worked up quite a sweat but had a lot of fun. It was funny because the weather was cold but they still sweat. That's how hard they played. Where'd you learn to play like this, Cindy? You're a serious pro. I'm really impressed. You look really beautiful today also. You do every day. I just wanted you to know 'cause you're awesome and I love you. Walt said, grunting as he hit the ball. Cindy grunted as she replied, thanks Walt, I played a lot in elementary and middle. It's actually my favorite sport. It was, and it showed. It wasn't close, and she was clearly the best in the class and it wasn't close at all. They talked more. Listen Walt. I'm sorry if I'm difficult sometimes. Is Vic mad at me? I know I was being difficult and I'm genuinely sorry and I'll try my best not to be bad again. I love you. Walt said, me and Vic did mention how you might have been nicer, but she could be, all of us really. But we all love you, especially Vic. I promise she likes you and thinks of you as a friend. CIN said, I'm glad to hear that, my love. I love you too. They were talking pretty loudly but the teacher was out of earshot, plus she wouldn't have cared, it wasn't against any rules, even if it was Walt, and any of his girlfriends were ready to donate a lot of money in the name of changing stupid rules, and they discussed it before. They hugged, kissed, and talked and Walt loved her a lot. He loved her always anyway, but he felt especially in love with her today. They showered, and everyone went to Vic's house. Walt knew the winter was making Vic sad, and though he always loved her, he loved her especially right now, and God was the same, and so God made it a bright and sunny day. She had a beach house with a private beach, so they went swimming. What Walt means is sometimes he'll write even when the beings these beings are based on are here or not, so when they get along more he's happier, when they make up, and they always do, they're always glad to see they were thought of and prayed for. They played chicken, and out of respect for their relationships the men were with men and women with women. Walt couldn't help but think how basically anyone else would have given an arm and a leg to hold his girlfriends up, when his friends would give an arm and a leg not to. They played volleyball, barbecued, built sandcastles, buried each other in sand, and had a really nice day. They also used fireworks at night like K-On! Lex and CIN sang, so they actually played some music and instruments. Stace danced. Liz loved acting. Sorry, MJ wasn't there, she was sick that day, so some other friends joined them instead. One of them being someone Max liked a lot, Maggie. She was a sweet, beautiful, and nice woman too. There were some more men too. But they came later. They were kind of tired of school, and who could blame them? School fucking sucked. From that day on they decided to do online school, but of course they could still go in person, and they could attend their regular classes if they wanted. They all slept at Vic's house, and they were glad to be able to sleep in as none of them had PE until fourth period. They had a lot of fun at lunch. They all shared some poetry at their club the day before. The women all cooked and Walt got to try all of it. The men didn't really cook except Walt, so they were thinking of adding Smash 5 and Fortnite to the club after all. Club meeting was over at sunset and the friends said bye, and Walt stayed with his girlfriends and kept kissing them. Walt went home and ate dinner with Uncle Mike, and Uncle Mike was glad to hear Walt was having fun with his friends. Walt prayed for his friends. He hoped envy wouldn't get them, but only love. They had their whole lives ahead of them and he wanted to spend that time being happy. But he was filled with love. He was always for his friends, for his uncle, a lot, for his passed away family, for his broken heart, for heaven, but mostly for his girlfriends. Even though they were the most difficult, they were the most worth it. They were all he thought about. Fuck sex. It wasn't about sex but love. Only love. Friends, food, school, PE, history, math, biology, English, music. A big beautiful school, classmates. Teachers. Love. It was a brand new world. He saw only friends. He saw only light. Smiles. And light. Then white. Only white. Chapter 3, How Empathy Makes Hope. Listen, Walt. You gotta get better at search and destroy. I love you, kid, but when we lose it feels like it was winnable, ya know. Anya, more importantly, good job in school, kid. Listen, Walt, if you don't want to go to college, I'd understand selling insurance becomes less and less appealing by the day. I feel like you should start eating the school food. I know we love saving money, but we have so much, ya know. What harm could happen? Uncle Mike told Walt this in the morning in the house and dropped him off at Fireheart Academy at 7:30 a.m. They said their kind byes and smiled at each other, and Uncle Mike drove away. It was Friday. Walt decided to take his tests in person. He passed them all. He went to school Thursday to do PE and his club, and that was it. Walt and his friends had fun at lunch, and for PE they were allowed to do what they wanted like every Friday, so he played basketball with his girlfriend Cin and some of his friends. Walt loved how huge the library was. It was multitudes of stories and had probably every book ever, it felt like. He liked studying for school, but he also just liked learning generally, so he checked out a book on cooking so that he could make some better meals for club. When air blows, it blows us hard, it hits us like stars. And when those stars drown, they sink with such velocity that no one can stop them. When all's gone, and we start over, and the real win and the fakes lose, we're left knowing who we were was the best. To win we must die, to float, we must love friendship, passion, smiles, good memories, reliability, school, money, fame, manners, air, wind, feathers, birds, and the sky. We fall forever in this planet made of sky, but when we hit the water, we become like air. How was that, guys? Everyone clapped. It was custom to snap, and they did that too, but they felt like their friends were too fucking talented for just snaps, though some beings preferred it. There were all our named friends in the club, plus lots of beings were part-time members, because sports, other clubs, and just other things would of course come up. That was Jace. He loved the air. That was a really touching poem. Everyone congratulated him, and the women were cooking as he spoke. They cooked eggplant lasagna and they all tasted really good. Walt was glad he listened to his uncle. Since he ate at school, he could eat light, then at club he could eat more of his girlfriend's cooking. We fight covered in earth, in the caves, surrounded by caves, we ourselves are only clay with souls. We're in the boulders, like rocks on fire raining in an anime world. Metal can't cut diamonds, rocks collide like the Omphalos hypothesis. Our rocks are meteors, like rain, like rainbows, like planets on fire. It is when time dies that we come to life. It is when space lives that we pass away, like comets, like rain over an empty anime rainy world. They spark, dazzle, amaze, impress, inspire, and speak to us, they say. Life is as good as you make it, so make it special, my dear friends. Some beings clapped like the main friends and some snapped, but everyone thought it was really good and nice. Vic shared a poem. She said life is a video game. We aim, we click, we fire. Life is black, but that's what makes it beautiful. Sometimes envy eats at us like snakes, like lizards, like dragons, but we must be like damsel and not slay the dragon but save her. Or sometimes we're like King Arthur and we do slay the beast that haunts us. We intend or like purpose to not be close-minded, we are in the game. It's all or nothing. Win or lose, promise to play with me forever, Walt. Cin, Lex, Liz. To all my friends I didn't name, know I love you the same. I have no shame, these noobs are too lame. He calls me bitch like a Great Dane. Idiots stay in their lanes. I don't do it for fame, I don't do it for fortune, life's what we're exploring forever and ever. And forever I will always love you, Walter, I promise. That one was really sweet. Beings clapped, snapped, and cheered. Walt almost cried, he was touched, and Vic cried. They kissed in front of everyone. They had a music room that no one used anymore for their club room. There were some whiteboards on the wall. The club room was on the 10th floor at the very end of one of the halls. It had bleacher kind of seating. Windows above that. A piano, an office, and a lot of charm. MJ shared a poem. She said, music is in our hearts, what is in our heart can't leave, but it grows, flourishes, and fosters feelings of hope, empathy, music, 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 our heartbeat is music, and our breath is silent music. When Walt tastes my food I'm happiest, taking fucking tests in the crappiest, I get ready the snappiest, and fuck a sexist. I exit the stage, I can't forget the way Walt made me feel. On a hot summer day, the sun it came, and washed away, stars that crash like planets in spades. I pray me and Walt never fade away. I thank Jace, Nick, Steve, and John, and the women helped me write that. We didn't want them to feel like we did. Love them. I trust them. I'm not found at the function. Life is a junction, where we cross paths, in uniforms. Handsome small king, buy me a ring. Say it's for me, all these diamonds bring, stars that boil oceans. Star bits fall like meteors, let's go to the theater, Walt, and watch the film of our love forever and ever. I love you, and only you, like fire drowning in water, boiling until it blows up and covers the screen with black ink until it sparkles, then it's white, then sparkles, then it's just white. Thanks, guy. Ah! She screamed in excitement. Walt was touched and again could have cried. Lots of beings shared poems, so the club meetings were every day. Our main friends are the only ones who went every day, but attendance only had to be 70% for club credit. Club meetings were an hour at least. It was sunset and the last of our nice part-time members were leaving. Nice day, guys. It's so nice hearing some poetry and eating some awesome food. They all hugged and the men left except Walt. He stayed and kissed his girlfriends and they all left until it was just him and Vic. Hey Vic, thanks for the poem. I liked it a lot. I thought it was really romantic, cute, pretty, nice, neat, swell, polite, cool, touching, adventurous, beautiful, amazing, important, historical, hot, and just perfect. Walt said to Vic and he smiled at her. They made out and held each other close. Thanks, handsome. I thought it was pretty easy to write. I love you so much I could write about you forever. I'm so glad I met you, kid. You really are the highlight of my life. You are everything to me, and I'll love you forever. You are so forgiving and understanding. I hope you love me forever too. You are so awesome. Vic said. She shouted it and looked really excited. She closed her eyes, held her head down and stretched her arms behind her while clenching her fist. I am amazed by you. I just know you're the best person I ever met, so don't ever forget that, my love. The camera changed angles while capturing this important moment. She kept smiling in this position with her eyes closed for a few seconds. She started laughing and Walt slowly tilted her head up. He caressed her left cheek with the back of his right hand. She smiled with her teeth. It was a closed smile before, and Walt leaned in quickly and started making out with her. They laughed as they kissed. The scene changed and they were studying in Vic's room. We also saw this kissing scene from the left close up, then from the corner next to the door on the ceiling. Walt and Vic were studying their history homework at Vic's house, and they were also completing all of their assignments for the class, but also all their classes. Vic had lots of stuffed animals on couches in her room. Her room was huge. Her bedstand was beautiful with 4 columns at the corners and a hollow square at the top with a cloth running over the whole thing. The bed was made with 7 pillows at the head. There were some big windows all around the room and the ceiling was glass. They were kissing and holding each other a lot. Eventually they got all their work done and just laid on her bed admiring the night stars. There's so many, it's so beautiful, there aren't enough stars to compare how beautiful you are. If I took every star and squeezed them all together, you would still be the brightest thing in the universe. I think it was so smart to start the philosophy club. Do you want to go to the football game next Friday? I think it could be a lot of fun. I mean, we're abstinent, no offense, so it's not like there's a lot to do at home. The friends eventually graduated and lived very happy lives. They went to heaven, where they stayed friends forever and they all lived happily ever after. Motivation 1 Chapter 1, Pen to paper like ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, 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 ice, 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 angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angelic, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels. Ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angelic, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angelic, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, 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 angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, 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 snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angelic, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, angels, ice. Ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, 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 ice, snowstorms, angelic, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, 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 angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angelic, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angelic, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snow. Motivation 2 Storms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, 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 angels, ice, ice, snow, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, 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 angelic, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, 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 snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice. Ice, snowstorms, angelic, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snow, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angelic, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, 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 ice, 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 angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, ice, 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 snow. Angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angelic, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angelic, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angelic, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, 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 angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angelic, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angelic, ice, ice. Snow. Motivation 3 Storms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, 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 angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angelic, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, angels, ice, ice, snow. Angels, ice, ice, snowstorms, 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 angels, ice.